Mm, mm, mm. All right. We are live. If there's people here waiting for this annoying, disastrous match for Milan against Pisa today, we are going to get into it with Matt and myself. Again, if you haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do so. And again, we're live on Twitter as well today. So if you're joining us from Twitter, welcome or not welcome. Happy weekend to those who don't work on the weekends, because I know it is late in Europe, 11 p.m. in Italy. And quite honestly, another frustrating result for Milan at home against relegation fodder Sant'Angelo. I just like this is just it's just so tiring to kind of see this, because it was a fantastic first half by Milan. Really controlled the game, creating chances. Obviously, the Leao finish was fantastic, but not much finishing whatsoever outside of that, which is pretty much the story of, I don't know, the past 10 or 15 years with this club. They can't seem to get a guy who could score a goal out of nowhere. No, I'm not talking about Athekame's goal, just a striker that has that prowess to just finish an opportunity, whether or not it's a half chance. And these are moments, these are results that end up costing you a league title if those are your ambitions. So again, immediate reaction to these dropped points, or they are drop points because Milan had the lead at San Siro. You can't do that. So your thoughts?
Yeah, of course it's disappointing. Thanks to everybody tuning in right now. Obviously, we would love to be kind of speaking on better terms as far as recapping a victory, which all three of us, including Kush, thought we were going to get in our match preview. But yeah, I mean, some of the deeper numbers too, like the top stats, on FootMob. I'm just going to read them off to you guys so you have an understanding of like basically how lopsided this game should have been in Milan's favor, but it wasn't. So 67% in possession for Milan, 1.74 expected goals to 1.05 for Pisa, 20 total shots to Pisa's 8, 7 shots on target for Milan to Pisa's 2, 4 big chances to Pisa's 2, accurate passes. We had more foul. Well, they had more fouls. They had 21 fouls. 6 corners. Like, Milan, by all accounts, should have won this game.
Yes.
Obviously, like we look at the game itself in totality, you look at the fact that despite the injuries, despite maybe the limited people we have coming off the bench, you see 20th, you see first place. Milan, you have to go into these matches with more confidence, with more stronghold, and maybe you don't have everything working in your favor, but you got to get 3 points from this. And we said this in the preview episode, and to get only 1 point from newly promoted teams Cremonese and Pisa, it's definitely disappointing. On top of that, both those games were at home. Like, it kind of says a lot about, the nature of this league, that, if you're not careful, if you're not on your game and you're not playing sharp in all facets of the game, teams like Pisa, who, granted, maybe aren't as bad as 20th maybe would show, because we've seen some worse or 20th.
That's what I was saying the other day.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, come on. I mean, Rafael Leao, he had a great goal, not taking anything away from him, but he had that other chance where he was literally in the box right there, a simple curl to the back post. That's 1 goal. He hits it off the top crossbar. At the very end, Alexis, I love you. You've been absolutely fantastic this year, but you do all the hard work to get to that position. You got to score.
Toe poke.
You have to score there. Santi, not really existent in this game. And I think, again, it sheds a lot of light on the fact that, yes, it's scoring goals and finding a producing forward is easier said than done, because the last, 3 best strikers we've had, or 2 best strikers we've had, Ibrahimovic and Giroud, world-class names, world-class resumes, have won across the board everywhere, and we're still kind of searching for a guy that can produce consistently. Even Nkunku had a great chance. Like, that's 3 huge chances where it's like, come on. You can't really ask for much more than that. You're not even
being offside.
You're not even letting the keeper make a chance. It's one thing if the keeper makes a great save and it's like, all right, like I can kind of tolerate that and digest that. But 2-2, man, like, this is not a good result. And look, obviously there's a lot of season left. This is only match day 8. Milan are still in a good position relative to where we expected them to be, heading into the season, right? Top 4 was sort of a minimum that Milan needed to obtain. But man, you look at results like this, Martino, in March, April, and May, And
Mhm.
that's where you look at how thin the margins can be, where it's like, okay, maybe you finish top 4, or maybe you miss the Scudetto by 2 points. And it's like, there you go, right? So disappointing for sure. And, obviously we're going to have to kind of wait and see how the rest of the weekend plays out. Hopefully we get some help and maybe Milan are still in first. But yeah, just not a good result for Milan.
Yeah, I mean, and really, really terrible. I just don't really care. Like you're dominating the majority of that game, and the goals conceded, they're just utterly frustrating. I mean, the penalty, listen, that's called all the time. Is the rule great? No, not really. But it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
it just is the reality of the sport right now. So like I'm not here to like complain about that one. It's just really annoying. It's really annoying how a player never skies a penalty against us. It's annoying how we can't have Manyan. Manyan does not have a great saving penalty
No.
record at Milan. He continues to struggle in that regard. I mean, the second goal is just that pisses me off. There's just so many players within that you're looking at like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
This was the one game where I think, and sorry to cut you off,
No,
but
you're fine.
I think beyond just the scoreline and even the goal scored, the way this game sort of progressed and played out, this was one of the games that I think Milan so far have looked the sloppiest. Just a
Yes.
lot of misplaced passes, not really calm in possession in certain areas of the pitch. Obviously in front of goal, missing your chances. That's obviously always going to be highlighted and propped up as being the reason why maybe you don't get a win or whatever. But a lot of misplaced passes, things where it's like those finer details, the details where it's like you're not committing silly fouls. You're keeping the opposition pressed back because you're able to consistently thread together passes and keep that pressure mounting, right? I saw many moments and instances in this match where, even when they were up 1-0 or, it was tied, just kind of didn't look like they were quite in control of all facets of the game. And obviously you saw, right, where like the mistakes and things that they committed defensively, the goal obviously from Nzola, like simple finish, like McMahon again, like he's had
Right
moments this
underneath
year,
him.
but it's like kind of didn't really give you a chance. Not that there's much you can expect him to do in a 1v1 like that, right? But at
I
the
don't
same
expect
time, it kind of seems like in this game they reverted back to a lot of the issues that kind of persisted on the regular last year, where it's like the goals they're conceding is not even like a wonder goal. It's like a miscommunication or a guy falling down or like a handball,
just
like
stupid.
things like that, where the team is not even earning it. It's like you're giving them a free pass. Here
How
you
does
go.
how does Nzola free wide open like that? There's nobody marking him,
Even before the
regardless if
collision,
Gabi is getting like knocked down, regardless if Gabi is getting knocked
yeah,
down. Like it's just attention to detail with those kind of
of
things,
course,
and that's why I consistently have asked for an experienced center back. Tomori sorely missed today. De Winter was fine. I thought some of his passes were errant in terms
yeah.
of forcing some of them. I don't think
Mhm.
he made the greatest of decisions when he was on the ball like that. But that's what's annoying here is that you have to win. It's Pisa at home. You're up 1-0. You have to finish your opportunities. And this Santi thing, to kind of go back to him, I am sorry. I have defended him. I have
Yeah.
given excuses, this and that. What are we doing here? October 24th, he hasn't scored yet in Serie A. Ample opportunity to do so. Pulisic now injured. Nkunku wasn't healthy enough. Like, I'm sorry, but when you get paid 30, when you're paid for like 30 to 35 million as a striker for AC Milan,
Yeah.
you cannot have goal scoring droughts like this as a striker when you're not really creating much. I get it. Fine. You won the penalty against Fiorentina. There's good movement there. Goals, score them. Don't care.
You're
Really
not some
don't.
sort of fringe player, fringe striker that's getting an opportunity.
It's
It's
just I don't
you're
care.
you're slated to be a key contributor, a guy that is amongst the high goal scorers on the team, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't he's your only striker, you're true out and out striker. So you almost would think in a way, okay, hey, like bro, like you're the only guy. Like this is your job.
Yeah.
You think that would kind of free you a little bit and make you a little bit more relaxed. Now, I will say this. I think that when you look at Santi's game and you look at the way we've played in certain games, yes, obviously the clear missed chances, like there's no excuse for that. That's inexcusable. But in certain matches like this, you almost wonder, it's like he's not the right profile for Allegri and what he needs as far as, because like we create chances, but even when we create chances, you almost look to Santi and you're like, we're creating chances, but where is this guy? Like, is he getting? He's not firing a lot of shots. Like, I can give you the numbers amount of shots,
No,
but like,
I don't even. I
without
think he
he's
had
getting
like
a lot of
one.
chances to even shoot. So it's like they're almost trying to force feed him because they know he's in such a rut, and it's just like that's where it becomes a problem, where the guy is struggling so much for confidence and for form that you start to kind of like completely
Press.
alter the way you want to play in the attacking phase, and you're forcing him the ball when it's like he may not be open, or there might be better outlets or opportunities elsewhere. So like that's where the concern is really growing with me. And honestly, like it's 8 match days in, and regardless if Milan only have the one competition, you can't sustain a 38 round season with a striker that is so down on form and is not able to get you goals, because at some point Rafa's going to go dry. Like he's a player that is kind of hot and cold when it comes to scoring, right? Like he's got 3 goals in 2 games. Pulisic is injured. Nkunku, like he's lost that sort of scoring touch in recent years, on top of the injuries. So that's where Milan are really going to struggling. Like you look at the teams that they're going to be competing with for, I'll throw it back to you, Martino, that are going to be competing with top 4 in the Scudetto. Like for all the issues that Inter might have, they still have that guy Lautaro, who is like, if they're playing poorly, man, you have a bomber who can get
How many times did I say Inter have 4 strikers? 4 strikers better than any of Milan's. And I know Milan technically really just have 1 striker, but like still it's goal scorers, guys that could like be
great.
Even Pio. I think Pio Esposito is at this point, I think he's better than Santi, or at least at the same level as him. I know Santi has a better track record. He's older, but like from what I see from Pio and Jimenez, I don't see that much of a distinct difference in their talent level too. Camarda has more goals in Serie A than Santi Jimenez, and I have tweeted this. I have said this. You have to make a strong decision come January. Do you recall that player? And I think if this trend continues over the next 8 to 10 weeks, that's a strong decision that's going to have to be made by Tade and company. And
I think that would also be some very bad mishandling, because the last thing you want to do is take a player and remove him from a situation where he's getting ample time. He's confident.
But if you're
but Martin, and then you're basically asking him to come back and saying, "Hey, we're struggling for form. We're going to call you back."
It's
and
not
now we're
struggling
asking
for form.
you to be
It's like we need a striker that could do something. And if you built up enough confidence,
but you're putting a lot of pressure on.
I'm sorry. Well, there's always pressure. He's the guy in Italy. He's dealt with the pressure at this point.
I know.
The pressure is nothing. The pressure is nothing. If he can't deal with the pressure now, then you have bigger problems. He's been on this stage and gotten this attention, where Zlatan's posting about him on Instagram, social media. Everybody knows his name, who he is, where he's playing. Like, come on. Like, I understand where you're coming from, but the pressure to me like doesn't matter. If you're scoring and you're doing a pretty good job, and he's playing for Lecce, who's horrendous, like you have to make that decision, because guess what's really important? Milan competing for something. And if Santi is not getting the job done, we already the director was sitting there saying in the last match before the transfer window closed that they were considering getting rid of him. So to me, they're already considering this. This wouldn't even be a shock to me. And guess what? Who are they going to purchase come January? What are the options there? They don't have options like that.
I guess
that's
they
probably the next closest thing to do.
Pre-negotiate for Duzan, but that doesn't solve the crisis in the short term.
No, I don't even. I know what you're saying, and we discussed that. I don't even want to think about that guy right now. To me, listen, this is also like mental lapses, and I know we could bang on the striker for this, but the realistic thing is they had multiple opportunities today. The finishing was poor. It's just annoying, because this shouldn't be happening. Even with Allegri, who does very well against these sides, like this shouldn't be a thing. And I find that very annoying to have to deal with, that even in 2025, when we have the talent level, when we're playing once a week, when we have this sort of preparation, this is happening. How are 2 goals being conceded against them? I don't care. Those 2 goals should never have existed. Never should have existed. And it's just, it feels like this only happens to them, even though other Serie A sides have to deal with this. But it just feels like this is such a Milan thing. And if you can't shake this stuff, it's never going to go away. And yeah, Fofana, terrible today. But before I forget that, Fofana sucked. He was terrible. abysmal. And I know people are going to be like, today, this guy's always bad. I get it. We're talking about today's match. The guy stunk. It was just absolutely brutal to watch him. There were no options, as you mentioned, to come off the bench here, right? Loftus-Cheek. Still somehow muscle fatigue makes him miss this match. Yashadi's obviously not back. Rabiot is injured. Like, where's the leg returning to in this? That's the problem.
Yeah.
And guess what? Quick turnaround to Atalanta on Tuesday. I'm annoyed. It's just, and everybody has the right to be. There's nearly 400 people listening in and tuning in with us, so we appreciate all of you. Follow the Milan podcast channel, obviously here on YouTube, and then again on Twitter as well, and all our other social media.
Real quick too, just to kind of keep talking real quick, just
to
speak on some more stats and Santi, and not to kick the guy when he's down, but like I think it's you have to have this serious conversation. This is a serious talking point because obviously, like, the more Milan struggle to score goals and the more they really have to rely on like the individual brilliance of like a Pulisic or a Leao, at some point that is simply not going. It's going to fizzle out and it's not sustainable through an entire season. Right? It's just not going to happen. Even when Milan won the Scudetto, like the second half was all Rafa. That's how he won the MVP. But how many goals that were crucial did Giroud score or Ibrahimovic score? Like, at some point, you're going to have someone in the striker role that says like, okay, I know these guys are struggling. I'll get my 1 or 2 chances and I'm going to make them count. In a game like today, Santi played 76 minutes, guys. He had 10 accurate passes, or 8 of 10 on passes. 1 chance created. Touches, he had 19 touches. Touches in the opposition box was 6. Ground duels, 1 of 5. 2 fouls committed. Like, we scored 2 goals. We I just read off the numbers. We created 20 total shots, 7 on target. And you think like, okay, this is a match where Milan are creating chances clearly. This is a team that is creating chances clearly.
Yeah.
You can't say that, like in previous years where you had the Piontek's and some of these other guys where you're like, well, we're really not giving them supporting cast. The system's not conducive to these strikers producing. There's no excuse for that. There's just simply no excuse. And I think it really just goes to show you that, as we all knew, that January market was a complete and utter disaster because we spent on a lot of players that are no longer here. We also spent on a striker that we thought was the guy and spent pretty big for a coach who's no longer here. And now we're in a striker who's obviously his declining value, right? And there's a good chance that Milan are going to try to go for a striker in January. And he is also ahead of a World Cup going to try to find a solution for himself to regain form because he's obviously keeping in mind his Mexico status for the World Cup. So like,
Raul Jimenez has that position.
Yeah, like this is where Milan are at. Like, make no mistake about it. Like, they're in a good league position. But things like this quickly go south, guys. You play next game or 2 games. What do they have next? They have Atalanta coming soon, right?
Correct, and Roma, I believe.
Like, quickly you can fall. Like, quickly you can drop points, and it's a real problem. So Milan have to really address this very soon. And it wouldn't surprise me that, obviously with the injuries, your hands are behind your back. You can't really do anything. So Santi's going to still get opportunities to play. But man, at some point, like, you might see Alexis and Rafa as the pairing up front if Santi can't produce, and maybe he comes off the bench because
maybe Nkunku gets a start. Nkunku's been put in, like, listen, I thought he could have one-timed that first one. He ended up being offside anyways. It didn't really matter. I think ultimately what it comes down to is when someone like Nkunku is only getting these opportunities sort of off the bench, and in these instances, it's hard for him to build up chemistry because he's still adjusting to the league. He's still adjusting to the squad. And I'm not even making excuses for him. Like, Santi's been here for months now. And he's been working with this team. So it's different when you compare the two. Nkunku will need some time. But again, when you're kind of sitting there saying this to yourself, you get very frustrated. And Atalanta, listen, I don't think Juric is anything special. I don't think they're that good of a team, but you kind of just worry about that. And it's just annoying because it was preventable today. You knew if they had gotten that second goal first, the game is completely different. But, things can change in an instant. And that's basically what it was. It's De Winter getting that penalty. I thought that was really unlucky for him, but that's the reality of it. And then there are no words to describe that second goal. It's just like, you're shit. You're not good enough to win the title right now. What you're doing, what those sort of performances are, those mental lapses, top teams don't have those. Not like that. We see the repeat time and time again. What happened against Cremonese? Pavlovic, what is he doing? Poor marking. Second goal by Bonazzoli. Fofana culpable in that. Like, you can't have that on a consistent basis.
It's lack
How
of
much
focus.
better we have been playing when Rabiot was in the lineup,
Yeah.
midfield wise. He was
Yeah.
absolutely the X factor. And I saw some people make some notes about, Luka Modric today not being there. I thought Luka was fine. He had to take on more of a defensive responsibility today. I thought his crosses were pretty good on the set pieces too. And he's 40. So, like, the hell, man. Richie, there was also one instance within the first half. He completely misses Leao when Leao is running in behind. He
Yeah.
doesn't see that ball. That's on him. Those are little fine details and creating opportunities for your team that you have to recognize. Because guess what? As nice and tidy as Richie can keep things, and I like him as a player like that, if you don't have the gall to send in a ball like that, it's gonna come back to haunt you. So just like that, we can see other sides slip up. We've seen Inter slip up a couple times this year. I know they're kicking themselves for that. Napoli, same thing, just like against Torino. So Milan are not alone when it comes to these sort of things. But again, at home, 20th place Pisa, can't do it. It's
Yeah,
inexcusable.
I just think too, it's become this today was uncharacteristic of Milan, right? I was a bit surprised, obviously, when I saw like they completely lost focus and understanding of where to be on that second goal. And, look, for all the issues that Santi has faced, and, obviously certain players may be underperforming relative to expectations, the one thing that we've been constantly praising and lamenting in every single episode of our podcast and even on Twitter was, yeah, but Milan they're getting the fine details right. They're getting the fundamentals right, like defending as a group, not giving away an inch, not giving away like ridiculous chances, ridiculous fouls in areas, right, for the most part. In a game like this, it's like what makes it even worse is the you know you can stomach on match day one. I forgot the guy's name. Getting the bike kick goal,
Bonazzoli.
right? A bike kick goal where you're like, all right, tip of the cap, great goal. Like, yeah, man marking, whatever. But he at least earned it. He's at least earning the goal. This is like two goals, kind of on a platter for you. Granted, the handball, whatever. But like
Mm,
this, and look, Milan had a scratch claw, and they still had a chance at the very end. And I'm
mm.
surprised they gave Milan and Pisa as much time additional to play on top of the
Yeah,
6 minutes.
people were talking about that foul that was like in the box, and then there was like other stuff. Like, it was just so like
But it's just, yeah, it
I
was
know.
just a sloppy game as far as the details were concerned from Milan. And obviously, I think like I'm curious to see what the post game um, words are from
There,
Allegri,
there's
because
a
I'm
couple.
sure
There's a
he's
couple
gonna,
comments right now, so I was gonna get to those.
yeah,
By the way, Luka Modric is man of the match according to Serie A, so congrats to him. So I look pretty good, age. So Modric did have some comments. These are from Antonio Vitiello. Um, Modric, it's only our fault if we didn't win. We didn't do enough. We lost 2 important points today. Correct mentality there. Allegri had some comments. Tonight we made mistakes. We need to reflect, work on the things that didn't go well. Once we were ahead, we should have gone for 2-0. We didn't. We needed to be more clear-headed and quicker, but we didn't lose, which is positive. At the same time, it will help us improve. Obviously, the manager is going to make comments such like that because he knows how it is with certain sides like this. It's not the end of the world, but it's just, it's one thing when, Allegri's here for a couple months, second time back, right? He's going to be saying those things. In reality, Milan fans have been hearing and seeing and watching this for 15 years.
yeah,
So that's where you get tired of it, right? Like, if the Jets hire a new head coach, we suck ass. We don't want to hear this new speak from Aaron Glenn and these other managers where they're like, oh, well, we got to work some things out. Are you correct? Yes. But do the fans want to hear it after suffering for so long? No, they don't want to hear it. Just go out and change it. You know, I think there'll be some more comments there. Everybody in chat, if you had a man of the match for today, go ahead and send one in. I hate man of the matches when you don't win. Personally, that's just a me thing. I think Skira has some comments as well. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as Fofana. Let's see. Oh, there was actually one thing on Allegri commented on the Gabbia foul on the second goal from Insola. He goes, contact Gabbia Morero on the 2-1 goal. Our fault. We were caught unprepared in the long run. Today's
right.
blah blah blah. And he's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a team that's been tidy, organized, defensively structured quite well, you don't expect that. So when you are in a position where you're out of position, things like that happen. Again, the finer details, the fundamentals. The teams that execute the fundamentals, they string together passes, they don't commit silly fouls in dangerous areas, they don't give cheap corners away or free kicks away. They take their chances. Like that's what it was today. That's what it was.
100%.
Point blank period. Now, I don't know. Maybe the games against Fiorentina where like you kind of got on by the skin of your teeth, and in some other games where like you get just clawed by and you got results. And I feel everyone says and jokes it's a Allegri black magic, and here we go. This is classic Allegri ball. But like the Allegri ball label and all those sorts of things,
it's bullshit.
It's BS and it's not tangible. And it's obviously a different team at Milan than what he had previously at Juventus, where it's like, oh, well, we could play ugly and do all these things with like a really stout defense like they had when they had Barzagli, Chiellini, and Bonucci. Like, it's not the same. And when you drop points like this, again, it really highlights that for how far Milan have seemed to come so far under the new coach, a lot of new players that have produced pretty well. Obviously, some we haven't seen enough of quite yet. We haven't seen Yashari, so we have to wait and see how he gets integrated. But Milan are still not quite there yet. For matches like this, where you don't take your chances, you produce plenty of shots, you dominate possession, you don't commit a ton of fouls. Pisa were fouling, and I think a lot of those fouls were unjustified in my opinion. I thought there was a lot of soft ones given in Milan's favor in this game. And I'll try to be very objective because I know this is a Milan podcast and we can go and praise and criticize Milan all we want, but like I'm going to call it fairly. I thought Pisa were given some very harsh fouls like down the stretch of that game when Milan were trying to get the winner, where it was like Alexis Salamaker's throwing his body around, free kick.
Salamaker's fouled. I forgot who it was, and he fouled through the player to get the ball. Like that was very clearly should have been in Pisa's direction. Listen, man, just like this is what they get, and again, not really on the manager. I don't get that. I see comments out there. To me, I thought he was fine. Milan were playing well. At the end of the day, it's players executing. That's really what it is. And managerial stuff, there's always styles, there's man management. That stuff matters. It will always matter. But at the same time, when you're sitting there saying to yourselves, you lead the camel to water, you can't make them drink. You could put them in positions to score goals. That's on Rafael Leao. It's on Nkunku. It's on Santi Jimenez to figure it out. Yep. Allegri can't help them do that when they're out there. So, again, drop points by Milan here against Pisa. So that's the reality of the situation. Milan are going to have to digest this, quickly get over it, and turn around to face Atalanta and then Roma and Parma after that. And I believe then they head into the international break. But relatively difficult schedule. So again, guys, we appreciate all the support here. So you subscribe and follow us at That Milan Podcast. We are doing fantastic. Shout out to Kush. Thank you again for joining us. Just want to make a couple quick comments on that Kush episode because I saw quite a few people say certain things on it. Kush had a conversation with Jerry, right, Cardinale, and he came on to tell us about some of those comments, and it's really what it is. We're not saying we believe Jerry Cardinale. You could have seen You could see my reaction when Kush said that Jerry told him that he was never selling Milan. I laughed at it. I smirked. I said, never? Yeah, okay. Like, listen, we know what that guy is. We know what he is looking to do in general. It's up to you to decide whether or not those words are truthful. Because again, that's for your decision. This has nothing to do with, oh, now Matt and Martino, like we're red. No, we're not. Critical thinking. Let's think here for a moment. We had someone on. They told us certain things that they heard from the owner of the club. Very relevant, very important in terms of news.
Yeah.
So when we come on here and we discuss these things, it's common knowledge that we usually do that. We hear rumors, we hear transfers potentially, we talk about them, we discuss them. Like Matt said, being objective here. This has nothing to do with any biases. Go ahead.
I also think too, guys, like I'm a big proponent and believer in, when we share transfer news or we have guests on or We talk about certain topics. Like we always try to very honestly filter through the nonsense and the BS and the unreliable reports and publications to give you guys reliability, like good sources with integrity, good sources that are not just going to, say whatever.
Yeah.
Kush has built up a reputation as being a creator in this Milan content creation space with integrity. The content he puts out it's well-founded, it's well-researched. You could see the videos, the time and effort he puts into the videos. He was there at the game, the past couple games. I'm sure he's going to have more content coming out surrounding this game, and I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say about that. But I think it's very important to understand and consider the reliability and the integrity of the source. Kush hasn't really give anybody any reason to sort of criticize, well, maybe he's doing it for content and for clicks and engagement and whatever. You look at the quality, you look at what he produces and what he puts out. Has he given you ever any reason to think that he's not coming on here and telling us what the
what is the the stuff about like he's lying? What is he lying about? He told you what was said.
Yeah,
he vetted it.
He would probably even agree, like, well, look, it remains to be seen, but he can only go by the words of the man himself. Who's to say in a year, Jerry's that was all a
Could be 6 months from now he's full of shit.
Right. But like at the end of the day, if there are workings behind closed doors to work on a sale of the club, you obviously can't convey that information publicly.
Of course, that. Why? Like you guys know the word leverage from transfer deals. You don't think that has anything to do with a sale of a multi-billion-dollar football club? Like, think. And again, there were a couple like people like saying like, oh, like we had Enrico. Enrico's a good friend. We love him. He's been great to us. We have people from all walks of the content creation on here that we talk to. We have
different opinions.
Like it's all different. And again, we never said we believe Jared. We never said, yeah, you know what? Actually, Kush conversation. You're right.
Yeah,
we never said that. Listen, that's why you go back and listen to the podcast. So again, give us 5 stars with that. 488 of you on the 2 platforms.
Thank you, guys.
We do not have the Twitter comments. It won't allow us to post those. Might be some issue with StreamYard. Again, Milan stinks no matter who owns it, except for Silvio Berlusconi, who's won more Champions League than your entire club. Suck it. Roberto Rojas. Oh, my God. That's Martino Matt. Hello, Roberto. Great friend and journalist for ESPN. So again, guys, we appreciate you all so much. Again, if you didn't have the opportunity to watch this from the start, you could go all the way back and rewind. So yeah, we appreciate all the support. Diego coming in here very late. Shout out to Anthony LaFleur. Sabrina was in here. Good luck to the Blue Jays of the World Series against the Dodgers. And again, thanks to everyone who's a regular in here that always comments. We see your comments. We appreciate you guys. Truthfully, it means a lot to us. Matt and I have been working on it for quite some times. You guys aren't in the Champions League. Very good. Astute observation, sir. Nothing gets past you.
Also, real quick, guys, just one quick thing for the people that were mentioning, maybe Allegri, his pitfalls of today and how he maybe went about approaching this one. I just want to kind of read you the bench that he had. I know that's been like a thing that's been circulating around, Milan on match days is like images of what Milan has to offer off the bench and the amount of players they have to offer off the bench. Mm-hmm. So they had Athekame. They had Nkunku, which we both saw. And here's the list after that, but just to get a perspective on all the injuries Milan have, right? Pittarella, looks like a youth player. Terracciano, a backup keeper. Odogu, another young backup center back. Tomori, and Emanuele Sala, a 17-year-old. That's all they had on the bench, guys. Yeah. That's all they had on the bench. They didn't have another striker. This isn't like Napoli who have Højlund or Luca coming off the bench. This isn't like Inter that have Boni and Thuram and Lautaro. Like, this is what he has. This is where the injuries are. So we can come on here and say and be disappointed with the result, and we should be. Milan should beat Pisa. 20th place, first place team. Milan had enough quality. They created enough chances. They did enough on the day, in my opinion, to win this game.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
I think it just goes to show you and puts a lot of things into perspective that when Milan have injuries, this is a team that are going to struggle to put games to bed. This is a team
Yeah,
that's going to struggle
Ali.
to have a stronghold on all these
Mhm.
games. Like you look at all the
Ali
names they have
Fisher.
not that out today.
Ali Fisher and Torgru were talking about it on the Sempre Milan podcast. Like, Ali's just like, yeah, the entire depth thing is bullshit. It never was and existed to that amount. Yeah. Yeah, just real quick, just to address this comment. If you paid attention to anything at all, they all happened during the international break, so as zero to do. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you with that. Again, real quick, if you do see the short form video of the post match that I put up, I called Zachary Athekame, David Athekame. I'm just so irate. So excuse me for that. And shout out to my buddy Gus for giving me this incredible gift. This is honestly like the coolest like thing I've ever gotten. And that's sad because I'm 30 years old. But a Ronaldinho jersey is like the coolest thing. So I
I
just
think that
want
was
to
one
go.
of the first jerseys I got like a while ago. I got it at like a knockoff thing
Yeah.
vendor in like Florida somewhere. It was like
Okay.
that and like a Ka one, and obviously there's a difference in quality, but like getting like an actual match day one, that's
It'll make people laugh, but I never had the opportunity to get a Milan jersey up until like El Shaarawy and after we sold everybody. So I never had a Milan kit. My nonna only got me, and you'll laugh at this, my first ever kit, R9 Inter. Never wore it.
that's a tough one.
Second one was Totti, shocker, with my family. But again, yeah, that's pretty much it. So again, guys, Tuesday, probably post-match Atalanta. We'll just do a pre-recording for everything. Again, we appreciate you guys so much. The growth has been immense. Thank you to all 515 of you tuning in,
Wow.
whether you're a Milan fan, Inter fan. Thank you for the sub again, by the way. And whoever else, follow us, tune in, and there's tons of other great content creators out there. So yeah, thank you so much, and that's pretty much it. Take care, guys.